This is just a question to start off because we're just waiting for the stream to make sure it's up. Has it ever? Has there ever been a person that's been in MVP voting and also comeback player of the year?
Dak Prescott.
I feel like Joe Burrow and Dak Prescott maybe could have got one.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, damn, that's an interesting idea.
Because the year they both got hurt, they could have legit won MVP.
What if you win both comeback player of the year and MVP? I don't think they would do that, but it's just
that would just be insane.
That must mean that you just had a horrible injury and then you came back. But that's besides the point. I think we're streaming now.
Yep, we're up.
Alright, cool. I just wanted to voice that question while we wait for it. Alright, so welcome to awards predictions. We're going to start off with comeback player of the year. God. I'll start this. So the betting odds, DeMar Hamlin leading, Joe Flacco second, and then Baker Mayfield third. I have Joe Flacco winning this. DeMar Hamlin doesn't deserve it because the dude has only had 2 tackles. I respect that he's alive. That's great. That's amazing. But you don't deserve it if you get 2 tackles in the season. That highlight tape's going to be horrifying. Literally, they're just going to show your 2 tackles, and then what are they going to... they can't show anymore because you didn't do anything else in the season. Baker is a great odds, but Joe Flacco literally had he was sitting on the couch, and then he just decided to play football. He was taking a nap in literally the Jets game. Dude, this guy deserves to get the comeback player of the year. What about you, Jack?
I agree. I get the DeMar Hamlin sentiment, but ultimately I think he hasn't done enough on the field. I think you could, and through the NFL, consider giving him his own award and separating comeback player of the year from injury. So it's most improved instead, but that's a different debate. I think it should be between Joe Flacco and Baker Mayfield. I think both guys were kind of counted out, and both guys had really good seasons, all things considered. But Joe Flacco's is just more impressive. Baker Mayfield, this man was an NFL starter. He had no competition. He has a really good supporting cast still with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Joe Flacco does too, but this man came off the couch. We thought he was cooked. He's been cooked for a while. And he came off the couch in October to lead a Browns team that was spiraling with injuries. And the fact that he's been able to stabilize them and basically lead them into the playoffs single-handedly, I think that is an undeniable accomplishment. And I think that beats out Baker Mayfield's comeback. Not to mention, like Zach said, he's an old man. The comeback, that makes the comeback even harder. Baker's 27, 28. This man's probably in his late 30s. He thought he was good done. And he literally came off the couch and helped the Browns make the playoffs. I think that is the most impressive player to come back so far, so I'm giving it to Joe Flacco. What are your thoughts, Josh?
He's 38.
Holy crap.
Dang.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh,
so,
dude should just retire.
I'm going to sweep on Joe Flacco here because I wanted DeMar to win so bad. He had such a great story going in, and this is why I believe that comeback player of the year should be separated from most improved, like what an NBA team does. Because then we're just dealing with, okay, there's a person who literally died on the field, and Joe Flacco coming back to be Joe Flacco. This is not how awards are supposed to go. Comeback player of the year should be reserved for people who have the stories like DeMar Hamlin and come back from those stories. Most improved should be, hey, you sucked, now you're better. Great job. Here's your award. But that's a whole different debate. Joe Flacco wins comeback player of the year.
How hard would it be to the awards look the exact same? Comeback player of the year looks the exact same so just make another one. Jeez.
Everything besides Walter Payton
MVP
Man of the year
looks the exact same as comeback player of the year. Just make another one and then just call it most improved. That's so easy. I'm not being an ass either. Just call it the Joe Flacco award. Jeez. Jeez. He's literally the definition of a comeback player. Or Alex Smith, you can call it that because tribute to him. He did.
Or DeMar Hamlin.
Yeah, whatever. Most improved, something else, Geno Smith Award. Alright, now we're going to get to D-Roy. I'll hand it off after I mention the betting odds. Jalen Carter's leading, with Will Anderson being 2, and 3 being Kobe Turner. If you don't know who he is, he's a defensive lineman for the Rams. Alright, since I took it last time, Josh, you know what? You're actually leading. One of your guys is on here. You can start.
It seriously isn't Kalijah Kancey as the third favorite?
No. 4 is Devon Witherspoon, 5 is Brian Branch.
Oh, dang. I really thought Kancey would be on there. But I mean, I gotta give it to Jalen Carter here. Will Anderson has been great. Though I'm not gonna lie about it, he's broke the Texans' rookie sack record, and he's gonna be a phenom for years to come if he can stay on the field and be healthy. But Jalen Carter has just been a beast this year. Been so dominant. Been an absolute game wrecker on one of the best teams in the NFL. So give me Jalen Carter winning D-Roy this year. Zach?
Who let the Eagles take this guy? Like, oh my goodness, I also have Jalen Carter winning it. But who let the Eagles cook like this?
He had a little bit
This
too
is
much
not-
fun driving.
This isn't fun anymore because the Eagles literally they have a unit that can withstand for years, and it's just because Jalen Carter is one of the best players we have ever seen go into the draft process, and then just because he drove a little too fast once, freaking he drops from 1 to 10. I know that sounds really inconsiderate, but who let the Eagles cook like this? This isn't fair. I don't even know how to even explain it. He's been dominant. He's been literally an actual he's been a vet. He plays like a veteran. It's crazy. It's his first year. He's gonna go crazy in a couple years. What about you, Jack?
I think we're going to sweep here. Jalen Carter. I like Will Anderson's rookie year. I think he did good things. But I think Jalen Carter has had more. Will Anderson has more sacks, but he only has about one more sack. I think impact-wise, Jalen Carter's made more impact. As a defensive tackle, getting 6 sacks compared to Will Anderson 7. I think it's close, but ultimately Jalen Carter, he came in and he was a freak of nature from day one in a crowded defensive line room on top of that, and he was able to come in and start immediately and become this game wrecker from the middle. And I think that impact to the Eagles' defensive line, making that front even stronger, cannot be denied, and I think he should get the D-Roy here.
It's so unfair. Holy crap. I'm so annoyed that he fell to pick 10. That's so... Oh my gosh. The Bears could have taken him. Gosh. Alright. O'Roy is easy. Hopefully. We should... The betting odds are CJ Stroud, 1, 2 is Puka Nacua, and then 3 is Zay Flowers. That's not bad. Josh, you have another person here. Go ahead. Jack, you were sweeping last year. How's Josh? Good stuff.
So, my O'Roy is going to be CJ Stroud. As much as you people are saying Puka Nacua should win it, of course, he's had a great year. But CJ's been an MVP candidate. He leads the league in touchdown-interception ratios, the first ever rookie to do that. And this has just been something different. Puka's going to be a great player, but CJ was just better this year. He has been lights out, probably one of the best quarterbacks that we've ever seen in the rookie season. If he didn't get injured, he'd probably be the best. So, CJ Stroud for O'Roy this year. I'm going to hand this one off to Jack.
I have to agree. This one's pretty easy. CJ Stroud. Puka Nacua, Pro Bowler, 1,000-yard season and all that. Good job. Congrats. But what CJ Stroud did is unprecedented. There's been rookies that have come in and led their team to the playoffs, but for a rookie to play so elite already at such a young level, most rookies are honestly, rookie quarterbacks, they struggle a lot. But CJ Stroud, he doesn't turn over the ball very often. He's smart, and he still makes the big plays. He came on the scene. He led a team that picked number 2 overall to the playoffs in his first year with a rookie head coach, rookie OC, and pretty much rookies all around him. And he was able to just come in, and he led his team to the playoffs. That's almost unheard of. Probably since, I think it's the first one since, obviously Lamar did it, but he came in for Flacco, that was the thing. But day one starter, walking in and making a playoffs, I think it was Andrew Luck. And I think that cannot go unnoticed. I think he's easily the O'Roy. What are your thoughts, Zach?
I'm thinking about... Are you right? I think
I'm
you
trying
are,
to think
actually.
if there's anyone
Yeah.
else.
I was like, Josh Allen did it? No, Josh Allen didn't do it. Mahomes didn't go until his second year.
RG3 did it too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
same
he
year.
did. RG3. Well, that's just a really good draft class that was injured. Okay, I will give Puka Nacua some of his flowers, though, because you guys... This guy had an amazing season. I still have CJ winning it just because he's a quarterback, but Puka literally, I think he's broken the receiving record for a rookie. He is 4 receptions away from breaking Jalen Waddle's receiving record. That's crazy. That is an amazing season, and I think that I'm going to give him his flowers, but he's going against a quarterback, and quarterbacks are more well-liked in the league. If Puka wins, I wouldn't be surprised. But also, CJ Stroud has more of the likeness. He's known. He's a first-round pick. like, it kind of helps. Puka's a 4th rounder that came out and did really well in his first year, and is probably going to be a good amount of time. Should have taken him in fantasy, not T. Higgins. God. But still, yeah, so I think Puka Nacua is great, but CJ Stroud's a quarterback. They give it to quarterbacks more often, so I have CJ winning it. I also did have CJ Stroud winning MVP for like a good bit of time, so before that injury. So if you're in the MVP race, you should be winning Rookie of the Year. All right, we were going to do that later. Okay, oh boy. Ooh. This one I think has like 2 individuals that could be debated, but the betting odds are CMC, Tyreek Hill, and CeeDee Lamb. That's 1, 2, and 3. So, you know what, Jack? You have not gotten one. Go ahead. Go ahead with this one.
I think this is a 2-player race. I think there's other people lurking around it, but I think ultimately, I think the decision should be Tyreek Hill versus CMC. And I'm giving it to CMC. Tyreek Hill's year was definitely incredible. I thought he was going for 2,000. If he did, I'm considering giving him the MVP. But then he got hurt for a couple weeks and he kind of fell off, and he's at 1,700, which is still elite, undeniably elite. But CMC's year was just crazy. Obviously, 1,000 yards in the ground, a bunch of yards to the air, touchdown. I think he had a touchdown in every game except one. Not to mention, he's pretty much the leader of the 49ers super team, leading them to a top spot in the conference. I think CMC all around has just put the team on his back. He got a ton of touches, ton of work for his team, and I'm going to give the slight edge to CMC here. I'm giving him my oh boy. What are your thoughts, Josh?
Yeah, Christian McCaffrey, I think that he is going to be the oh boy this year. He's actually my second favorite to win MVP, if player not named yet was not in the MVP race, because that game really decided it. But oh boy is definitely the award that he should win. He has been leading the Niners team, like you said, and he's just been so dominant this year. Zach?
Where can I look up your all-purpose yards? God. Yeah, it's also, yeah, I have CMC. I was trying to look up his all-purpose yards, but I can't figure it out. I'll look it up. All-purpose yards. Yeah, that's crazy. Holy. 1,459 yards. And most of that's rushing. And, again, he had a touchdown almost every single week. It was an amazing season for CMC. Yeah, I'm totally taking him next year in fantasy. He's not going to work, is he? But, hey, that's whatever. All right. Still a little mad about Travis Kelce, but that's fine. But, yeah, CMC, I can't take away from whatever he's done. Tyreek Hill is really good, but he's not going to... Unless he has a 300-yard game, I believe, against the Bills, which I don't think that's going to happen because he's good, but he's not that good. Yeah, he's going to need 300 and something yards. So, I don't think that's happening, but if he does, hey, he deserves that award, but I think CMC is going to win it. All right, now we got Coach of the Year. I got to go all the way down to the bottom because all right, so the odds are Kevin Stefanski, DeMeco Ryans, Shane Steichen. I'll also add 2 others, Dan Campbell and John Harbaugh. So those are the 5 that are in the odds right now. Go ahead, Jack.
This one is close. I think sometimes Coach of the Year gets turned into who had the best team and the best record, and I think sometimes it shouldn't have to come down to that just because obviously better players means better teams, better record, whereas if real Coach of the Year is able to elevate his team even considering circumstances, and that's why I'm going to give it to Kevin Stefanski. I think Nico is a close second. Obviously, he also elevated his team. He has a very young team, very inexperienced, with the help of CJ. But Kevin Stefanski, making the playoffs with that quarterback situation, 11 wins. Deshaun Watson, let's be honest, he was pretty bad. Dorian Thompson-Robinson, up and down, PJ Walker, and then finally settling in on the comeback player of the year for me, Joe Flacco. Like, 4 quarterbacks is insane. And on top of that, you'd be like, okay, obviously he had Nick Chubb to lead the offense. No, he's been out for the year for most of the season. He's had no Nick Chubb, meaning they've had to rely on their passing game with a pretty bad quarterback situation until Joe Flacco came in. Also, he has the best defense on his back as well, or one of the best. But overall, the fact that he's able to make Joe Flacco, who's been known to be a statue, look elite with all three of his, with two of his starters and one of his backup tackles going down is kind of crazy. I just think him elevating this Browns team despite the injury gives him the credit, and I think that's why I'm going to give him Coach of the Year here. What are your thoughts, Zach?
I also have Kevin Stefanski, but I will give Miko and Shane Steichen their flowers. Steichen and Miko have taken two teams that were, I believe, picking in the top 5 this year, all the way to almost playoff contenders, and one of them is a playoff. It's a playoff contender. So that's just a really impressive season. And Shane Steichen, I believe, should be higher on these. No offense to Miko, but Shane Steichen, man, he literally he didn't have his quarterback for half the season, and he was still able to bring the Colts to close to it. But again, like you said about Kevin Stefanski, he just brought a team that was shouldn't even been here. They lost Nick Chubb, they lost Deshaun Watson. That quarterback situation kept moving around with Dorian Thompson-Robinson, PJ Walker, and now Joe Flacco, which is your comeback player of the year and my comeback player of the year. I feel like it's just he's been able to unlock Amari Cooper in other ways. It's just been a great season for Kevin Stefanski and being able to keep the Browns together and being arguably the second best team in the AFC. Or even arguably the best team in the AFC. So yeah, getting from here to wherever they are right now took a lot, and I know that it's a well-deserved. This would be his second Coach of the Year, too, because he had one when they made the playoffs last time. So, hey, if the Browns keep messing up and they make the playoffs, hey, Kevin Stefanski's going to win a lot of these things. All right, Josh, go ahead.
Yeah, I have Kevin Stefanski winning. This could have been a year chopped up to injuries and just okay, cool. You didn't get it done. You were injured so many times. And there could have been so many excuses for this year. But Kevin Stefanski kept going through with the roster that he had and made them the 5th seed. That is very commendable. It could have been a 1st seed if they weren't in the AFC North. So you got to give him the Coach of the Year. He has just been amazing. I can see either him or they've both led their teams to great successes. And I think that they really do deserve it. But Stefanski, oh my gosh, he's done an amazing coaching job. So Stefanski.
All right, now we got Depoy, and I'll start us off here. So the odds are, the top 3, Myles Garrett, Michael Parsons, TJ Watt. And I have Myles Garrett winning it. If you are on the best defense, if arguably the best defense, you should probably win Defensive Player of the Year. Myles Garrett has elevated a lot of this team because how much attention he needs creates others to get sacks and other stuff, and he's had 13 sacks this season, which is very impressive. Not his best season ever, but I believe that just his elevation of being able to make other people better on his team just because of how much focus they need to put on Myles Garrett is really impressive. It's causing a lot of pressures too. I think he's other than Michael Parsons, I think he's 3rd in pressures this year. So it's kind of crazy what Myles Garrett's doing right now. So I think that he deserves it. What about you, Josh?
I mean, Myles Garrett, he's an absolute game wrecker since day one. But right now, I think that this is his award to lose. He has been the glue that's kept this Browns team together, especially whenever they've had their shaky quarterbacks. They've always had their solid defense led by Myles Garrett. So I don't think that there's any other person to give it to besides Myles Garrett. So I got to go with him here. Jack, what's your thoughts on this?
I thought about this one for a while. I think I'm going to give the slightest edge to Micah. I like Myles Garrett. I think he should definitely be second. But I think Micah's also had a similar impact with his pressures, and he's been making big plays all year. Obviously sacks this year. I think overall the leader in sacks is not going to be the Depoy this year. TJ Watt getting hurt kind of moved him down in it. And I think overall Micah and Myles Garrett both led very successful seasons. Not that TJ Watt's Steelers season wasn't successful, 10-7, but overall I think the Cowboys and the Browns both had really good seasons. I think it thanks to their defense a lot of the times. I think Micah getting the pass rush allows for the Cowboys defense to force the turnovers in the back end because it makes QBs make mistakes. I think it's razor thin, but I'm going to give the slightest edge to Micah.
I also believe that Micah is leading the league in pressures, which is crazy. So that's something to note. All right, so now we have MVP to end us off. So the list is Lamar Jackson at 1, 2 is Dak Prescott, and 3 is Brock Purdy. I would never think to say a sentence with Dak Prescott being at 2 and Brock Purdy for MVP odds, but I guess we're living in that time right now. So, Josh, you want to take this one?
I gotta go with Lamar Jackson. He has just been elite, and I've been trying to hold it off for so long in the videos, but he is my front-runner MVP candidate ever since the Niners game where he just rerouted them and just made them look silly. He has been elite all year, and I'm so glad to see that he's finally getting his flowers for all of his success. So I have Lamar for MVP. Jack?
I also have to go Lamar. I mean, yeah, statistically, compared to other MVPs, you could say that maybe he doesn't have the same stats, but I don't think that matters here, because when you look at team, this dude led the best team in the league, because, I mean, Niners versus Ravens was to decide pretty much the best team in the league, and the Ravens squashed them. Like, look at all the games they play with Lamar. He elevates players on top of that. Zay Flowers is a rookie. OBJ, not the same player. Bateman has not looked amazing. And he's doing all this without Mark Andrews on top of that, along with having one of the best rushing attacks in the league based on his threat to move and run alone, even without an elite running back, because J.K. Dobbins went down fast. Every game the Ravens were in this year, if they didn't win it, it was one score. And I think ultimately it came down to San Francisco, and they beat the crap out of them too. I get Dak and Purdy had good years, but you know what? They also had elite supporting cast, and the Ravens stomped Brock Purdy, so I don't even think that should be in a discussion. But what Lamar's done to elevate his team and be on the best team and be pretty much the key contributor. You saw what they looked like without him. They lost 17-10 to the Steelers. He's the impact that they need, and I think this is his award this year. This is his year. He's going to become a 2-time MVP this year. What are your thoughts, Zach?
That's wild to say that he's going to be a 2-time MVP. It doesn't feel like it, but this is such a better MVP season, and I'll say this is such a better MVP season than his last one. Oh my goodness, if he wins it this year, this is his best one, for sure. And I think that there's more MVPs in the future, hopefully. But it's like, he was very undervalued in the beginning of the season, and he really has just torn it up. I think I was starting to say, like, maybe Lamar Jackson will win MVP, like, I think it was like 2 weeks before the Niners game. I was like, but it's still really wide open. And then now it's like, he's literally the runaway favorite. I don't think that there's another quarterback, or even like CMC has an argument, but the Ravens kind of stopped that. He was still really good, but it was just, they kind of just stopped his momentum. And Lamar Jackson's just kept this going. And it's proven the point, like Jack said, that they need him too, because they lost pretty bad to the Steelers. They still kept it competitive, but they still lost without Lamar Jackson playing and more of the defense playing. So this Ravens team needs Lamar. He elevates players, like Jack said too. He hasn't been doing this with Mark Andrews for more than half the season. He's been elevating players like Zay Flowers, OBJ, Rashad Bateman, and Isaiah Likely. He's also gotten the running backs more into it, like Gus Edwards himself into the running game. I believe there's another running back that they're running right now that he's doing really well. So, yes. So all great things going on with the Ravens, and I feel like they're gonna get the MVP. So that does it for our stream today. That's our last stream of today. So we have 3 of these out. If you want to go check out our other 2 streams, one of them we're predicting the Super Bowl from what we did in Week 18. So check out that Week 18 video, then check out the Super Bowl video, and then you can look at our awards. We're also going to do one more prediction, which is the National Championship, and we're going to just do that one right now. It's going to be Michigan versus Washington. Who do you guys got? Jack?
I think I'm going to go Michigan. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think this is Jim Harbaugh's big moment. I like Washington. Really good receiver prospects. Michael Penix Jr. there. He was a Heisman candidate for a while. I think they had a good season, but I think Michigan's going to come out on top. I think Jim Harbaugh is going to have a coaching masterclass that's going to get him looked at for the NFL jobs once again this year. So give me Michigan. What are your thoughts, Zach?
I'm going to choose Washington. Washington looked really good against Texas. It was a really close game. But I think that Washington this is their year. They have a lot of good pieces on the defense. Their quarterback is a lot better than J.J. What's his name?
McCarthy,
I think, right?
I think so.
J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah. So So I just think that they have a better quarterback. They are missing one thing, which is concerning me a little bit. Choosing Washington, their running back is out for that game, so he won't be playing. And he was a really instrumental role in that Texas win. But even with that, Michael Penix threw for 400 yards against Texas. I don't think that's going to change too much against Michigan, especially because Texas, in my opinion, had a better defense than Michigan. So I got to go Washington. Josh?
I got to go with Washington here. Can we just say it? The Pac-12 is having the most expensive funeral right now. And it is amazing. I love seeing this. But it's really going to come down to the battle of the trenches. Because Michigan has one of the best defensive lines in the country. If they can get pressures on Penix, it's over. But they're going up against the best O-line in the nation, which was given to Washington. But Michigan, don't count out their O-line either. It's really going to be a battle of the trenches this game. And it's really going to be who can beat the other secondary. Because those have really been suspect for both teams this year. And I really think it's going to come down, and Washington, with Michael Penix Jr., is going to win the national championship the final year of the Pac-12.
All right. Well, now that does it for our video today. So if you want to check out our other videos, we have some old content. If you want to look at what we did for mock draft, you can. Those are some fun videos. We'll be posting more often here and there. We're going to try to work around each other's schedules and try to get some videos out. But other than that, enjoy Week 18 football and hope for the next one. Jack, hit the plugs.
As usual, don't forget the Instagram and Twitter at FrontlineFB. Right there. No, this way. Right there. And we'll be back here. This is our last stream for the day, unfortunately. But off season's coming up. We still got playoffs to predict if something drastically changes. And yeah, I think this is going to be a really good off season. So you definitely got to stay tuned for that. The Bears, what are they going to do with the number 1 overall pick? Who's going to sign where? There's a lot of good free agents. This draft class is really good too. Good quarterbacks, good receivers, good offensive linemen. So there's a lot to talk about. So stay tuned to be here in the loop, and we'll see you guys back here.